Good evening, everyone, and long time no see. My name is T. It's been a long time since I made a video for you guys. Feels like a year or more. Sorry I've been gone so long. Life just got in the way for a long time. Wasn't able to devote any time to the channel. Work got extremely busy, and then what with the pandemic and everything, it's been just hard to get the time together to make anything, and also shipping to Japan is very difficult, so trying to buy yo-yos around here is tough. And then, as you guys know, the yo-yo prices in Japan are pretty expensive, so then there's also that, just hard to get my hands on things. But all those are just stupid excuses. I also just had a lot of other priorities in my life that got in the way, and making this video, and there's a couple more coming. I don't know if Tokyo-yo is back for sure, but I do know that I'm trying to get back into the mode of making videos again. A lot of people have been requesting tutorials, so maybe we'll get into that. But anyway, that's all talk for another time. I put up a poll on Instagram asking if people would like to see a best of 2020 video, and it was overwhelmingly yes. So here it is. I did still play yo-yo. I did not play so much this year. Meaning 2020, I did not play so much yo-yo. I just could not really bring myself to do it most of the time. And then when I did, it was usually just to kind of learn a new trick as quickly as I could. I only learned probably 2 or 3 new tricks the entire year. It was pretty shameful, I know. But I would like to tell you guys the yo-yos that I was messing around with this year. I'm gonna go over the plastics and the regular aluminum non-hybrid yo-yos, I think. Yeah, none of them are hybrids, yeah, that I played with this year. Now I will say that the yo-yo that is my favorite of 2020 is not going to be in today's video. There's going to be another video that's going to be actually my top 3 bimetal yo-yos. So my favorite yo-yo is one of those. It was actually a bimetal that came out either, I think 2 years ago now. And it might not be the one you're expecting. So if you'd like to see that video, I guess you could leave a thumbs up, and that'll be your way of telling me that you want to see my top 3 bimetals of 2020 and my overall favorite yo-yo of 2020 as well. Without any more preamble, shall we get into it? So these are going to be my top yo-yos of 2020, plastic and aluminum. Let's go ahead and start. Oh yeah, and one more thing. I've been experimenting with wide angle and also with 4K video at 24 frames per second. I don't know, I just really like the way that 24 frames per second looks. You guys let me know what you think. I think it looks really cool, but anyway, if you're not into it, just let me know in the comments. So let's go ahead with my top yo-yos of 2020. You're also gonna see footage of these yo-yos kind of overlaid over as I talk about them as well. First one we're gonna talk about is the Yo-Yo Empire Notice. This is one of the favorite yo-yos I've had ever. Good friend Tachin has always hooked me up with these whenever he orders stuff. It's a plastic yo-yo. There was 4 of these in different shapes. There was an OHV and what was the other one? I forget, like a hybrid shape. But this is the O shape, and it has this finger spin dimple in the middle. Usually I switch the responses out on these, but this has got these white pads that are not my favorite, but this one's been okay. Of course, you always use Zipline string. That always seems to work with the response the best, but it's a little bit on the heavy side. But when you want a plastic yo-yo, I have never been able to find a funner plastic yo-yo than this. There's been a lot of really great plastic yo-yos that probably play better than this, but as far as fun factor, like, you cannot do better than the Notice. This is absolutely such a blast to play with. The color's not 100% accurate on this. It's a little bit of a richer blue, but you get the idea about this. If you want to see pictures, you can take a look online, but this was one of my favorite yo-yos of 2020 and one of my favorite yo-yos ever. Next one up here is the ACO Air. This is another one that's really fun. This one is ridiculously light. It's I cannot remember. It's like somewhere in the 30s or 40s as far as weight. I don't remember the exact weight. If I find it before this video goes live, I'll put it somewhere over here. But this is just so fun. It's also 7075. Isn't that amazing? And you get that sound pretty much every time you bind as well. I really like ACO because they do a lot of experimental stuff. They seem to be able to put out really high quality, really like experimental yo-yos with these really cheap prices that just encourage people to want to give them a go. At least in my opinion, that's what I've noticed a lot, is that they're just willing to experiment and really, I don't know, push boundaries with pricing. It's cool. I've actually met the folks who run or work for ACO or something like that. I met them when they were in Japan a while ago, way before the pandemic, and yeah, they're really nice folks. So this is a fantastic yo-yo, and as you guys know, I love super light yo-yos. These guys actually took a big scrape. You can see some battle damage here. When I was in Hawaii on vacation, I was thrown outside and these hit the volcanic rock and took a big chunk out of them there, yikes. But to the credit of the yo-yo, it still plays fantastically. Next up we have the Rain City Skills Author. This is actually a yo-yo I don't play as much as I should. I left the Lego piece in there. But this is just it's a fun company. Rain City Skills does a lot of kind of, like I mentioned, not really similar to ACO, but they do stuff that is a little bit off the beaten path. The designer of this yo-yo had mentioned that he'd had some issues with, I think it was arm pain or elbow pain, and I have similar issues. So he needed something light and a little bit easier to throw around that didn't thud at the end of the string. I really, really dislike heavy yo-yos, and actually I'm coming around on that feeling. I'm changing my mind a little bit. But this took a long time to get, and that's not the fault of Rain City Skills. It's just, shipping it to Japan took a long time, but it was worth the wait. I think this was the sci-fi colorway. Each of the colorways was named after a different genre of book. You've got the little engraving in here, Yo-Yo Madness. This also came with a book, I think, or there was a PDF. I actually don't remember now. I can't even imagine how difficult it must be now with the pandemic going on and everything. So if you're running an independent yo-yo business right now, then power to you, because it's not easy in the most positive of times. So good luck out there. Anyway, going back to the yo-yo, it is very, very light. Again, just like the ACO Air, it's got a good shape too. This one and the Air both are kind of on the V side of things. This is a little bit more V with these big rims, whereas I feel the Author's a little bit more organic. It's a little bit more rounded, but it has a really nice feel on the string. It's very, very smooth for its price, and again, that lightness really helps. I like the cup here. I'm a person who really needs something with hand feel. I'm a person that needs, I'm constantly fidgeting, so having something like in my pocket that has this nice smooth feel, it feels really nice to hold. Also, it's got these little nubs in here where you can put in I threw it somewhere away. It's gone forever, but you can put little Lego pieces on here, and that's kind of fun to personalize it or add extra weight, or there's like finger spin caps and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. That's the Author. Next up, we have another ACO. This is another yo-yo from our good buddy Tachin, who's just constantly hooking it up. I still owe you something, Tachin. Don't worry. As soon as shipping is back to normal, I'm hoping in the next month or so, I'm going to send you an awesome package. Don't worry. I'm going to blow your hair back with it. It's hopefully going to make you a very happy person. I'm sorry it's taken so long. But I think this is if we zoom in here, we can see this is the ACO Gravitation 3. And ACO really does, like I said, a lot of different stuff. I'm not sure how they have the the ability to go through so many different designs and colorways. If you follow them on Instagram, you'll see that there's like dozens and dozens of different colorways and different engraving styles. It's a pretty cool company, and they're doing a lot of cool stuff with design and color. This one, I hope it shows up on the camera here. It's this purple maroon, almost looks brown sometimes in some lighting situations, but it's a really beautiful looking yo-yo. I'm a huge fan of the shape of this thing, which I didn't think I would be. It sort of has that, it actually kind of looks like the Air now that I'm thinking about it, where it slopes up from the bearing. Wow, I didn't realize how similar the shapes are on these. That's kind of wild. Except you see on the rims here, this has got a bigger cut coming from the center, and then the last cut at the rim is much smaller, whereas it's sort of opposite here, where that first cut is much smaller and then the rim itself is much bigger. But this one actually plays super light. I was really impressed by that. It plays super light and fast. I really enjoy this. It has a really nice bind as well. The biggest thing about this is I was not expecting to like the shape at first because of that sort of just generic V shape, but the way it plays is definitely worth it. I don't know what this is supposed to be, but I don't know. I mean, it's fine. It's just kind of okay, whatever. But everything else about this yo-yo, I really like it, especially this color. Every time I look at it, I'm just dang, I keep forgetting how cool it looks. I gotta play with this more. Now we're getting into a few of my favorite yo-yos of 2020. Oh no, I still have a knot in here. This is the Memento from Mike Montgomery. And this was a really cool yo-yo. He actually sent me this a while back, so thank you. Mr. Montgomery. This is actually like a gunmetal gray, but a lot of times it looks like a brown or like sort of an off brown color, but here in the camera it's looking very, very gray. It's actually a lot browner than that. But this has a really, really cool shape. I'm a huge fan of these like kind of big chunky rims. It really reminds me of the Aviator 2, the Yo-Yo Factory back in the day. Actually, the Yo-Yo Factory Aviator 2 is pretty much the only Yo-Yo Factory I've ever liked 100%. All of the other ones I have problems with them, or they've come with problems, or they've had like serious defects when I got them, or they've been really, really vibey. I just have a really bad luck with Yo-Yo Factory in general. But this reminds me of the Aviator 2, which I traded away a long time ago. I really kind of regret that because I love that yo-yo so much. But this is just a, wow, it's got some schmutz in there. This is just a really, really fun yo-yo. It doesn't play particularly like fast in my hands. It feels really deliberate, not heavy, not slow, just like, since it has its bigger size, it's bigger in the hand, it feels like it needs a little bit more direction. I don't know, this feels really similar to me about the Honey Badger from Zipline strings, where it feels like it had a very specific design in mind, and it feels like it had a very kind of specific play style in mind. And when I see people playing with these, they're like way, way better than me. But like for me, it feels like it's reaching for a certain sort of play style. And I really like that because I can feel the person's design ethic in it. I feel like I know what they were going for with it. Also, I have huge hands, so this fits really well in the hand. I love these huge, huge rims here. This is another one that feels really good to hold, and the blast on this is so premium. So there you go, Memento. So this one has kind of a funny story behind it. A lot of you guys will know this is the Honey Badger from Zipline strings, and I think Unspoken worked on this as well. Got these cool spikes in here so you can do like Matador stuff. Now, my favorite of 2020 for this version would have been the 7068. I had that army green one that Jeremy sent me way back, and unfortunately that poor yo-yo got really damaged and lost its playability, which really stinks because I love that thing so much, and they're really, really hard to find right now. So, but it's funny because I was actually going over the list of yo-yos I wanted to put in this video, and my son, he's now 5 years old, and my son was going through a drawer of yo-yos that I had that were kind of being set aside, not like my main shelf yo-yos. And he just pulled this out randomly. He's like, oh, here you go, Daddy, you can throw this one. And I was just like, oh, that's right. Like the 7068 had kind of replaced this old 6061. This is the first run. But when he gave it to me, I was like, oh yes, like I still have that, the feel, the Honey Badger love, even though it's not the 7068, that really nice blast, the more, you know, adjusted weight that was definitely like more in my wheelhouse. Like having this to go back to makes me happy that I haven't lost all the Honey Badger love. Besides the story, it's a really good shape. I like these big thick rims. I know it's not similar to the Memento that much, but like I said, maybe just because they come from more independent designers and they have like a more personalized style in mind, they just feel similar to me in that way, where I don't know, I just feel like there's a lot of like passion in the design here. It feels a lot different than other yo-yos. It's got like the ridge here for the rim. It's got the spikes, which no yo-yos do anymore. I like these little cuts here. It's very, very smooth. I like that there's no step up here. It just like goes right into the bearing right there. Yeah, and the cup just really feels nice. And the color, I don't know, there's something about a clear yo-yo. You can put any string on here. Although this one looks fantastic with a black string. So I gotta see if I have some black string left. But that's the Honey Badger 6061 first run. Now as for my, I suppose this might be my favorite regular non-bimetal yo-yo that I've had all year, which is the MK1 Yo-Yo's Umbra. I really, really like this thing a ton. This is one of my favorite yo-yos that I have in my entire collection. MK1, in my opinion, doesn't get as much love as they deserve. They sent me this a ways back, and I just have had such a good time with this. For one thing, the blast is really nice. It's 7068, I believe. So it's got that really nice satiny blast on it. The fade is really beautiful. It's got this pink to purple. Looks great when it's spinning. Again, I love the feel of the cup. Like I'm one of those people who likes to like kind of like, I don't know, I think they call it like worrying something when you like constantly are holding it or feeling it, or just like you love the feeling of something in your hand. Like it really feels great for that. It has this wonderful hand feel. This is also the widest yo-yo I have. So for comparison, let me get a couple of other wide yo-yos here. So we've got the Manatee here, which is one of my favorites. Unfortunately, did not get as much play this year because of the other yo-yos I was playing with, but the Umbra is wider by a lot than the Manatee. The Akita, well, that's going to be in the next video, hint hint. It's bigger than the Akita, and I think the Akita is basically a souped up Manatee anyway. And also the Master Galaxy, which I really do enjoy, but the Umbra even has quite a bit of space on that, as you can see on the left here. So even amongst all these wide yo-yos, this is the widest yo-yo. And a lot of people would say that it's going to lose some spin time or it's going to lose some stability because of that ultra wideness, but it actually doesn't. The spin time is not the longest, but it's definitely not detrimental by any means, especially for me. I'm not like a long combo person. I just want to have a fun yo-yo to throw around. And the spin time has never been a problem for me because of that. And it's very, very stable. It's incredibly smooth. So fun to grind on this thing. Though the one problem you're going to find is that doing string tricks, wrist mounts, and more intricate tech is going to be a little bit more challenging. But things like hooks, Brent stoles, anything where you got to whip around, like you can't miss with this thing. It's just really fun for that. So this was definitely one that I picked up probably more than any other yo-yo all of 2020. So I know MK1 is still putting out a lot of stuff this year. Good old YoSX is on their team now, so you can go check them out. But I really enjoyed the Umbra in 2020. So here they are one more time, just in case anyone missed it. The Umbra, the Memento, the Gravitation 3, the Honey Badger Original, the Author, the Air, and the Notice. So these are all my top 7 either monometals or plastics of 2020. All right, that's going to do it for Best of 2020 for monometals and plastics. I do still have the Best of bimetals coming up, or at least my favorite bimetals at some point. I don't know when I'm going to release that, but at some point when I get it finished. And then I've also got a couple other like reviews or impression videos coming up on some stuff that people have sent me that I really, really need to get out. So I'll try to get that done in January, hopefully. So you'll see a few more videos from me. And then after that, I don't know what's up with Tokyo Yo. I don't have the money to buy new yo-yos, so I don't really buy yo-yos anymore. And I haven't for a long time. It's really nice when people send me stuff, but like I said in the past a billion times, I'm not a business, so I'm not like going out and seeking things from people. So it's just, if someone thinks to send me something, that's fine. But if people don't, I'm not butthurt about it. But that being said, I'll probably be working on more tutorials because there are some tricks that I feel like took me a long time to learn because there's just not a good tutorial out there or one that works for me. I'm very I need to see it from my perspective, so I gotta pop the old POV camera back into the charger and get that done, and then we'll see what happens from there. But thank you for watching. Hope you had a nice video. What does that even mean? Okay, sayonara.